Dear students, we are about to start the national insurance contributions. We are going to look at the purpose of the national insurance contribution. How does it fit in the overall tax system for the UK? Okay, so let's understand. I've gathered some purpose for it so that you could have a deeper understanding. So this is NIC's known as National Insurance Contribution are a very important part of UK system. It is separate from income tax, and it is paid by employees, it is paid by employers, and it is paid by people who have their own business that they are regarded as self-employed. Okay, so we're talking about a specific contribution other than income tax, which is paid by employees, employers, and the traders, which are referred to as self-employed. Okay, so let me just underline these for you. The traders are regarded as self-employed, and obviously employees pay it on their earnings. The employers pay on the as a percentage of the earnings that they give to their employees, and the traders pay it as a percentage of their profit. Okay, so this is how it works. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of collecting this extra money from the taxpayer? Okay, so this makes the taxpayer entitled to certain state benefits. Okay, and which includes the state pension. And when you keep on contributing, so a fund is being contributed that works for number one, state benefit, and the new style job seekers allowance. People who are unemployed and looking for job, they need certain allowance. Then they have the contribution based employment and support allowance. So some people who require support, so this allowance is used for those purposes. It is also available for maternity allowance. And finally, the bereavement support system, or the widow support system when a spouse dies. So for the support of the living or the other spouse left, or the civil partner. So this is used for that purpose. So we know what is this NIC, we know the purpose of it, and now we get into how it is calculated. Okay, so you need to remember three things: employees pay it, the employers pay it on the earnings, on the salary that they give to their employees, and the traders, whatever profit they have, the NIC is a percentage of their profit. Okay, so let's understand how they are calculated. Now we have an overview of what figures would be based on which the percentages would be applied, and now see what are the exact percentages and so on. Okay, let's see. So they have divided into several categories, several classes. So as we know, it is for employers, employees. So first of all, so again, we have this welfare state and particular state pensions. This is the reason why it is collected to fund variety of aspects of the welfare state. So we have already discussed that in the first slide. Now we look at how it is relevant to your exam. So first of all, the class 1 NIC is divided into primary and secondary. The primary is class 1, which is paid by employees on their earnings that they get from their employers. So we will also see the definition of what are earnings. Then it comes to employer, the same earnings that the employers pay, a certain percentage would be paid by the employers. Okay, so there are specific rules for that. We are going to understand those rules. We are going to look at examples to understand. And then there is this class 1 NIC, which is also paid by employers, okay, on the benefits, the taxable benefits that they provide to their employees. For example, if they provide a car, or if they provide accommodation, if they provide cheap loans, if they provide other assets. So on those taxable benefits, the employer has to pay another class 1. So it means that the employer has a lot of cost. The employer has to give earnings like the salary and other stuff, and then the employers pay NIC on that, and then the employer gives benefits which are not in the form of cash, like a car or a house or things like that. And then on those values, like whatever their taxable value is, they pay the NIC as well. Okay, so this is sort of double trouble for the employers. And then there is this class 4, which is paid by the self-employed. We look at the profits of the self-employed, and then we pay it on that. So let's see. This is class 4. There is also a class 3, which is a voluntary contribution, but that is not part of your syllabus, so there is no need to discuss that. So we move on to the next one. Let's clear the drawings. Okay, so how do we work out this class 1 for employees and employers? So this is, as we have discussed, due on both the employer and the employer on the gross amount of earnings. Okay, so we will also look at what are the gross amount of earnings. So let's see, here we have the first class 1 employee contribution. This is also referred to as primary contribution, and it is due from all employees aged between 16 years and the state pension age. Okay, when the person retires and they reach a pension age. So the employees pay this primary contribution on their earnings above the lower earnings limit. So there is this lower earning limit that they have decided, which means that the first 12,570, there is no NIC. And then the upper limit, which is 50,270. So in between these limits, 50,270 and 12,570, there is this main rate that is applied. It is 8%. And then there is a lower rate, which is in excess of the 50,270. Okay, so this is how it works out. And the primary contributions are deducted from an employee's gross earnings. Okay, like whatever they contribute, whatever is deducted by the employer, because you see the employer deducts it. It is the job of the employer to deduct it and pay to the tax authorities. However, they do not rank as an allowable expense for calculating employees' income tax liability. Okay, so like you have those earnings and you're paying something, but you cannot treat it as a deduction, something that can be deducted. Okay, so that they do not rank. This is important to remember. So here we see the age limit. Here we see the brackets in which 8% is applied, and above 50,270 you apply 2%. Okay, so this is basic idea. We're going to look at examples for that to have a better understanding. So here we look at the what are earnings, and then we look at an example. So the earnings include the amounts that an employee receives in cash. So this is important. Like obviously you receive your salary or any assets, marketable assets that can be traded, being assets given instead of cash, which the employee can either use it cash, as if cash, that for example lunch on vouchers, or is free to sell to obtain cash. Okay, anything that can be traded for cash. So earnings also include any mileage allowance paid to employees in excess of 45 pence per mile. Okay, so for example, the employee is using their own car, so they get this mileage allowance. So any mileage allowance that is paid to the employees in excess of the 45 pence per mile, like this mileage allowance is still 10,000 miles, you are getting 45 pence, and beyond that you get 25. So earnings would be including that as well. Now the gross earnings are before any deductions. Like if there are any contributions that you make, the gross earning figures that you're going to take is going to be before any deductions. Okay, so this is important to see. Usually you're given the amounts and you just apply the rates. So here we have this. Okay, furthermore, class NIC, class 1 NIC does not apply to other forms of benefits. Okay, because for that we have class 1A. Okay, and those are not paid by employees. Those are paid by employers, or to reimbursed expenses. Like you spend money from your own pocket for employment, and then the employer gives it back to you. So that is regarded as reimbursed expenses. So it is not applied on that. And as reimbursement is for any amount, for an amount spent out of after tax, including class 1 NIC. Okay, this is the reason. So now we look at this example, Kana. Kana is an employee who earns an annual salary of 60,000 pounds throughout the tax year 25-26. So we have to see what would be Kana's NIC suffered by Kana. Okay, so let's we now know the limits, so we can take this to the Excel sheet and understand better. Okay, so let's see. We're going to deal with all the questions like that. Okay, we're going to take them to the Excel sheet to understand them. So let's see. So here we have the Excel. Let's clear the drawings, paste it here. Okay, so here is the example, and we are going to just do slight changes to your font so that you could understand them properly. So here we go. We know that there is for the first 1 to 12,570, there is 0%. Okay, and then there is from between this figure 12,570 till 50,270, there is this 8%, and then beyond or above this value of 50,270, we have this 2%. Okay, so this is the brackets that I have told you. Now you see they have those 60,000. Okay, so we first of all need to see what is the difference between 50,270 less the 12,570. So that is, let's calculate this value. This is 50,270. That is 37,700. Okay, so this effectively is 37,700 into 8%. And then we have this above, which is 60,000 less 50,270, which is above that. And we multiply that to 2%. Okay, so you remember this thing, that this is the difference between these two values is actually 37,700, which is your basic band, equal to your basic band. So 37,700 into 0.08, and then you have this 60,000 minus 50,270, which is 9730. So we take this 9730 into 0.02. So we just need to add this up to calculate the total value. So this is the NIC. So this is the first one, the first example for the class 1. Okay, so let's go back.